You probably thought you were going to have this nice and quiet Christmas Eve, just sipping on some Ovaltine by the fireplace, but oh no. Then you saw that Run the Jewels came down the chimney and punched you right in your goddamn face. What's up, everyone? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But right now, we are going to talk about this new Run the Jewels album called RTJ3. Now, I believe this one was supposed to drop sometime in January, but just like I said on the intro, they decided to hit us up on Christmas Eve with just the best Christmas gift ever, and I'm really glad they did that because the first two Run the Jewels albums were great, and this one actually might be my favorite one. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit, and it was good to get this before 2017 got here, although now some people might have to change their top 10 lists, or maybe you'll just wait and put this on your list for 2017. But either way, I think this is an album that a lot of people are going to be putting on year-end lists because it is well worth it. Now, if you're not familiar with Run the Jewels, they're a duo made up of LP and Killer Mike, and they both do the rapping while LP handles the production. And when it comes to his sound, it's very unique and different. There's a lot of synth work coming into play, a lot of big bass. It just doesn't sound like anything else that is out there, but it's still very accessible because it just bangs so hard. So I really love LP's production style. He's always good to give you some trunk slappers, and it just sounds different. So it's not like your usual trap music, drill music, or anything like that. It's really just their own thing, and you know when you're listening to a Run the Jewels track. And it's not just their production style that is interesting, but also their bars, because they do not waste a line. There are just quotables all over this damn thing. I like how they're able to blend social commentary, political content, pop culture references, and humor so damn seamlessly, and that's a part of what makes them so special, is they do this and it does not sound forced or like they're just trying to say some shit for the sake of it. They really have their whole style and brand down pat. And all these things that I'm talking about, you can hear embodied on two of the tracks that they put out before this album came. So if you like these two tracks, Legend Has It and Talk to Me, I'm pretty sure you'll be happy with this album because you're going to get that big and bassy production on both of those songs. And of course, as you listen through these tracks, you're going to hear what I was talking about with the content, because you'll hear some commentary about Donald Trump and the All Lives Matter crowd. And then on the less serious side of things, you're going to hear some Big Lebowski references when Walter Sobchak is talking about how all his friends died face down in the Vietnamese War. And of course, you're going to get some Ric Flair woos, which are always classic and legendary, so I can't hate on that. And another thing I have to mention that I really appreciated about Legend Has It is how they have this really cool song structure on here, because they're going back and forth a couple of bars at a time with these short verses, and it really does show their chemistry, man. They do the same thing on Everybody Calm, which is a spacey banger, and when they do this, it just lets you know why they need to be in the discussion for greatest hip-hop duos of all time, because they are 3 for 3, and as far as hip-hop duos that are active right now, I really don't know who is doing it better than them, so we gotta give them their props, man. They got some really dope chemistry, and they got a tight friendship going on, because just like LP says on Stay Gold, him and Mike think alike, and they just can't stop high-fiving. So you know the shit is real with one of your friends when you can't stop high-fiving them. And since I just mentioned that track, which might be my favorite one because the hook is catchy and the beat is just so damn nasty, I gotta say that if you put that track, Call Ticketron, and also Panther Like a Panther on back to back to back, you got to be careful with what you're doing, man, because this shit is like some audio cocaine. You might start swinging from chandeliers, getting into some swashbuckling, maybe knocking over your nana's china cabinets. You're just going to wild the fuck out when you hear these nasty, ferocious ass bangers. And don't even get me started on Kill Your Masters, because this might be the most ferocious track of all. The way those horns kick in and just add to the rage of this song that is so revolutionary and bold. And of course, you got Zach De La Rocha coming on here and snapping just like he did on that song on Run the Jewels 2. I believe it was called Close Your Eyes and Count to Fuck. So there is no shortage of bangers on here for you to swing around like goddamn Tarzan. But now we're going to calm down a bit and talk about some of the tracks that are deeper and more thought-provoking. Specifically the song featuring saxophone from Kamasi Washington. I'm talking, of course, about Thursday in the Danger Room. And this track is just very deep and emotional, man, because you're going to hear LP rapping about what it's like to be around a friend who is just withering away due to illness, because you're both trying to keep that friendship going, show love, and just laugh about things, but you know that it's not going to end well. So there's a lot of complicated feelings that you're going to be going through. And I think he does a good job of painting that picture. And then Killer Mike has a great verse as well when he comes in rapping about his friend who was killed in the streets because of some gang shit, or just because of some street violence, I should say. And he really goes into detail again, just like LP was going into detail, because he brings up how this guy's baby's mom is now trying to live with this, but she can't, because how can you live with something like that when you lose someone so close to you, and there's nothing that he can really do for her. But the part that really stuck with me is when he kind of reaches out to the guy who killed his friend, and he says, you know what, I know you're probably listening, and despite what you've done, I hope you're able to right your wrongs and get out of the streets and find your way, because he knows that the streets are a very fucked up place. So I thought that was a pretty profound moment, and this is why this track is one of my favorites. It just shows you that while they can give you those crazy bangers, those trunk slappers, all that shit, they can really hit you with some deep content. And it's the same thing on Don't Get Captured, because LP is rapping on here from the point of view of a police officer. At least that's what it seems like to me, because he has some lines about how he can write the report about whatever happened out there, and that's what's going to go. And basically he's just rapping about how he can get away with these things with impunity. It doesn't matter what he does if he kills people in the streets, because he's protected by the system. So that was a powerful verse. And Killer Mike is on there rapping about some powerful shit as well, because he speaks on gentrification and how some people love to talk about the violence in Chicago, but not because they actually care, just because they want to make it a talking point and maybe use it as a deflection. They don't actually care about what's happening in there unless somehow it overflows into their neighborhoods perhaps and involves them. So there's a lot of great content all over here as far as political stuff and social commentary. You'll get some more of that on the song 2100, which is a bit of a revolutionary track that they dropped after Trump was elected. So I love this balance, this smorgasbord of sounds and content that they bring. It really makes them such a great group. But if I had to pick some moments on here that I didn't really care for, I would say Down is my least favorite track, but it's honestly still not that bad of a track. I would still listen to this, but I gotta pick a least favorite, and that would be The One, because it's very soft and fluffy, and it just doesn't really fit in with the rest of the songs, but they do start the album off with this, so it's not so bad that it starts off slow, then all these other songs pick up the pace and get crazier and more wild. And I do have to mention that that song has some good content about facing adversity too, so you know, there are a lot of good things about it, but it would still be my least favorite. And of course, you guys know I'm not the biggest Danny Brown fan. Don't think he's trash. I respect him as an artist, but just his sound isn't for me. So Hey Kids wasn't the dream collaboration for me that it was for a lot of people. So I can appreciate how, you know what, they came through with the fans. A lot of people wanted to hear Run the Jewels and Danny Brown together. And I don't hate Danny Brown at all, man. I think he actually sounds dope on this track and fits it nicely with his wild style. I can just take that style in low doses. So this wasn't one of my favorite tracks. And lastly, another minor gripe would be the beat on Oh Mama, because I thought this was one of the least dynamic beats on here, probably my least favorite beat on this whole project. So, you know, I really don't have a whole lot of complaints here, and that's why I give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's not perfect, it's pretty damn close, and even the songs that I don't love, I don't hate, and I would still listen to and probably not skip when they came on in the track list. So that's just what I thought about it. You guys can hit me up in the comment section with your thoughts, let me know how you feel, and of course, man, make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff, where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and of course, man, you gotta subscribe to my channel and click like on that Facebook page. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.